Hello, I'm Kendra Nicolai, and I am a program officer at Shadhika. During this 16 day of activism, I wanted to just share about an experience that I had um, at one of our site visits in 2019. During a site visit in Mumbai, as I was walking down a 3 foot alley, 3 foot wide alley, which is where around 5,000 people reside. We had girls from our local nonprofit that live in that community who were really excited to share their toilets with me. They wanted to show me where their toilets were. They wanted to show me um, what they had done and what they're trying to do to make it better. And so we walked to the toilets, which were kind of in the back corner area. And what I noticed walking up to those toilets was that the men's toilets were kind of elevated up on steps on this big structure. They were tiled. They had 8 stalls. They had four on through one door and then four through another door with a secure roof. And like I said, they were pretty elevated up. And they had doors as well. And then when you look to the right, there was the women's toilets, and there was just one line of four toilets. They were just made out of cement. They did have roofs on them, but they had windows that were broken through. And they did have doors, which the girls were excited that this is why they were excited to show me that they had advocated for them to put doors on them. But for the longest time, there were no doors to these toilets. Um, and then the women's toilets were located kind of, obviously down from the men so the men could see in them. And also there was a big trash dump right around it. So it was just littered with trash around the women's toilets. Um, and so the girls who had shown me the toilets were explaining that in the morning there was a huge line waiting for the women's toilets because there's only four for a small lane of 5,000 people. And so many of the girls don't have time to wait in line for the toilets, and so they actually have to wait until they go to school, which has caused a lot of health problems. Um, and then the girls also told me that this area is a big hotspot for rape because there's no lights. There's a big field kind of beyond the women's toilets, and so the girls don't feel safe back there. Um, Nearly half the world's population lacks access to improved sanitation conditions, and half of them reside in India. According to the 2015 UNICEF WHO report, almost half a billion Indians defecate in the open, and about 300 million women and girls in India have no access to bathrooms. Um, and so our partners in this particular basti, which is half of them reside in India. According to the 2015 UNICEF WHO report, almost half a billion Indians defecate in the open, and about 300 million women and girls in India have no access to bathrooms. Um, and so our partners in this particular basti, which is the local word for slum, they're trying to help alleviate some of the stress on the girls with the access to toilets or lack of access, and allows the girls to use their toilets at their offices, which is about a mile away, because they know these girls are traveling to school and waiting to use the bathroom there, and so it has caused a lot of health and safety risks. I think to me, this is important that we need to continue working to close this gender gap and minimize this power dynamic between what men receive and what women receive in India. It's clear that you can even see that just where the toilets are located, that the men are up here on this elevated space with twice as many toilets, with better infrastructure in an actual building, looking over looking down into the four toilets that the women have to use that are not part of a building and very small and falling apart. And so I don't know, the infrastructure itself puts the onus on the women to have to stay safe. It inflicts vulnerability for them and it gives men power to control. Um, and like I mentioned, the girls have been advocating to local authorities to get doors on the toilets, and they were so excited to show us that the doors had been on there, and it allows them to have a little bit of privacy. And they're continuing to advocate for better infrastructure to be able to stop this perpetuating rape and sexual abuse that's happening in this area of their basti. So your support can help spur the education and development of change makers like these girls and young women who are doing this work every single day or working really, really hard. And for some things that may seem very simple, this is a very, very important milestone for them to get doors on the bathroom, as you can imagine. And so this Colorado Gives Day, you can make a meaningful difference in advancing gender justice in India by giving and asking your friends and family to give to Shadhika. So you can head to the link below to know more.